Welcome to today's masterclass on how to organize your products to give your customer the best experience. When it comes to your website, if you are trying to empower your customers to request quotes and place orders, you need to take the time to organize your products into categories that make sense for your customer. And if you really want them to get an accurate proof and price, you're going to give that product a polish. So if we come to some of the biggest websites in our industry, Custom Ink, Rush Order Tees. I mean, everybody on the first page of Google is very similar. You're going to have a call to action message, and then you're going to see product categories. When your customer comes to you for custom shirts, typically they have a product category in mind. I need some t-shirts for an event. I need polos for my new employees. I need promotional products to give away. They typically have something in mind. And that's why all of these big guys work the same way. They put categories in front of your customers, or in front of you, the customer. Once you select a category, they then put subcategories in front of you. They start filtering the customer down before they get to the product filter page. So, customer wants t-shirts. Well, what type of t-shirt? We have all types. We have short sleeve, long sleeve, performance, tank tops, pocket, tall. What type of t-shirt do you need? Well, I am looking for tall t-shirts. We have some tall guys. Now they're on the filter page. Go to Rush Order Tees, select t-shirts, scroll through, and again, tall t-shirts. They just filter differently up top here. Okay, you want what color a t-shirt? Typically, companies are going to buy based on color. Well, I'm looking for blue. And maybe they're looking for it to be all the way up to 2XLT. So customer can filter first by subcategory and then by color and size. Custom ink. We already filtered by subcategory, tall t-shirts, and I can filter by color and size. It's the exact same method. On DecoNetwork, this is all possible very easily. You just have to take the time to organize your products. Don't think that Custom Ink or Rush Order Tees or really any of those big guys clicked a couple buttons and called it a day. They took the time to give their customers the best possible experience when it comes to navigating and finding a product and then getting an accurate proof and price. Whenever I build a website for a DecoNetwork user, I always let them know our goal is in as few clicks as possible to get the customer to select a product and request a quote or place an order. That's what makes us money. So we want the fewer clicks, the better for the customer. So when you turn on your DecoNetwork or you sign up for DecoNetwork, all your products are put in a few different categories. And it's thousands of items. So right now I have Sanmar S&S and Alpha Broder turned on from the US. And that's around 10,000 shirts and accessory products. So what I always do is I add a divider and we'll make it all products below. By default, I want every product from the big three suppliers I buy from to be available internally. And when I say internally, I mean available in Business Hub. And I know a product's only available in Business Hub if it has this orange background. So you can see this DM104L. This is only available in Business Hub versus the DT5000 with the white background is available internally, Business Hub, and on web stores. And when I say web stores, that could be our store or any of our affiliate sites. What you want to do is you want to create your own categories and subcategories and get away from the default ones that are in here. So, right now by default, if we sent the customer to t-shirts, they would be sent to here, and there's 198 100% cotton t-shirts. Using that by default, it's not going to get you many sales or really many quote requests typically, at least if you want them to use the design tool to request a quote. It's just way too many products in one category, subcategory. So up top here, I created a category t-shirts. And how I like to break down t-shirts is based on quality. Good, better, best. And I might even add another one, and this is where it kind of can get confusing, but maybe I call it premium name brands. So to me, District, the brand District can make a premium or a best shirt, but when Nike makes a t-shirt, it's twice as much. So it's kind of hard to like keep them all as one. So maybe premium name brands or just name brands. Just think like a customer. What is going to be intuitive for them to select from? Good, better, best, premium name brands, performance. I could call this polyester, but customers don't always think, oh, polyester equals performance. We think of that as a decorator. And I would, good artists copy, great artists steal. Look at what these guys do. Custom make, rush order tees. They do know what they're doing. You don't have to overly complicate that. Just copy their categories and subcategories. It's not rocket science. It's not stealing, you know, um, intellectual property. Just so like they have, I would have pocket. I would have tall. I would have tie dye. Create your categories and subcategories. Now, there's two ways that you can essentially organize your products. You can do them in bulk, which won't get you the best results, but it'll get it done quicker. Or you can give the products a true polish. So let's start with the bulk method. So if I come over here, first you have your basic search and your advanced search. This advanced search is very handy. So I can sort by supplier, brand, and then in a combination of code, name, status, product type, product group. And so like the Gildan 5000, if I search 5000, it's going to pull up sometimes more products than you realize. Of course, in this example, it didn't. But if you have Sanmar, S&S, and Alpha Broder, all of them on, before you know it, you've got like 20 products that get pulled up. Sometimes just sorting also by the supplier can really help. Just not in this example. Um, but so one of my favorite lines of products of Sanmar's is the very important line. So I'm going to come into the name VIT. Very important. There we go. And when you search, make sure you're searching typically on all is going to be the best. If I was already in t-shirts, I'm searching what has already been categorized here in t-shirts. So I want to be in all. And these very important. So this is a medium quality cotton t-shirt. And it comes in, unisex, ladies, pocket, just several different types. What I could do is I could grab all of these shirts, modify their categories, apply action, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to move them to better. All right, guys. Shouldn't be using a account that's on the next version, but that threw me. Looks like it's going to bulk update differently in the next version. But as a bulk action, I would have taken it out of the current categories and assigned it to t-shirts better. And all of them would have been moved at the same time. It's the same thing. Let's do this for a different bulk action. Let's update the availability. So all of these, I want to go from just internal use, Business Hub, and I want to change their availability so that they're available on the web stores. So I could change it to, sorry guys, I really shouldn't, I should have demoed with a different site, but I did this one for a reason. Uh, but you can change all of those statuses as far as availability as a bulk action. Some of the other bulk actions that you can apply, you can change the product group. I don't want to get too detailed about that, but let's say that, you know, you do not offer printing onto polos. Okay, so you could go into each polo and turn off, full color printing and screen printing and so forth. Most products, if you see here, product group, apparel, 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 and then hats are in headwear. So within apparel, we have t-shirts, we have sweatshirts, we have polos, we have jackets. It's a big bunch of categories. But if I came into product groups, I'm not saying, hey, this is what you have to do, this is what you want to do. But if I want to, again, apply some bulk actions, I could say, okay, instead of all the polos being in the apparel group, I'm going to create a polo group. And within decoration processes, I am going to turn off everything that's not embroidery. Okay. So essentially, I've created a group, I've created a rule within that group. And then when I'm in products, I'll search by, for example, polo. I can then grab all 267 polos. I could change their product group to that polo. And because I've turned off, printing from the polo group, the products that are in that group are going to take that rule and have to follow it until I override it. So that's another way you can apply some bulk updates. Bulk is great. That's great. But again, that's not what these guys did to get the best results. What I highly suggest doing is identifying a core product mix that represents 80% of what customers ordered. And out of that 80%, there's going to be another 80% in which the customers primarily order. So again, I know that all sounded kind of stupid, but the 80-20 rule exists. Out of Sanmar's 2,400 products or so that they offer, 80% of your sales comes from maybe 400 products for the year, potentially. Out of that 400, 80% of that total sales comes from 100. And then out of that 100 products, 80% of those sales probably come from just 20 items. So you're not going to polish thousands of products. You don't have to necessarily polish 500, but you really need to do it to some of the most popular. Speaking of the most popular, I am also a fan of creating best seller categories. So within t-shirts, I like to create a best sellers. While I offer all these different types, these are the most popular ones. So for every category, I would create a best sellers. But I even take it farther than that. It does not hurt to create a best sellers overall category. So you can go into t-shirts and look at my best sellers, or you could come into best sellers and look at the t-shirts. And when I'm configuring a product, I don't need to put it in all of these categories always at the same time. So what I would do is I would put a t-shirt that is a bestseller. I'd put it in this category. After I've put all my best-selling t-shirts in here, I would then apply a bulk action, grab them, modify their category, and put them up into this one. So let's do one. Okay, so let's go back to my very important T. So very important. DT6000. So when I say polish a product, what I really mean is make it easy for the customer to find and also make it deliver the most accurate proof in price. Every order revolves around taking a blank shirt, at least if it's custom, and dropping artwork onto it. The better configured the product is, the better it works throughout the entire software and it'll work throughout the entire lifespan in your account. So first, coming to categories. Look at it this way. This is one of my most popular shirts. It's getting lost in the shuffle with 2,400 others. I'm going to pull it out of the current mess it's in, pull it out of the pile, and I'm going to put it in my own category and subcategories. This is a t-shirt. It is a medium quality better shirt, but it is a bestseller. This is one of my favorite medium quality shirts, so I'm going to highlight it as a bestseller. I could come into bestsellers and put it into t-shirts. I could, but I don't have to. I could do that after the fact as a bulk action. So that makes the product easier to be found. Now I need to make sure it delivers the most accurate proof and price, which means I need to make sure the correct decoration processes are on, and I'm happy with the product decoration area on the shirt. Not every product needs as much of attention as another. Some just they could be better configured. They and DecoNetwork's catalog team often is going back through some of the older products and updating them. But it's really up to you to make sure that this product is set up how you need it to be in your shop. So maybe right now embroidery is turned on for all apparel. So it's on for this t-shirt since it's in the apparel group. Maybe you don't offer embroidery. Half the shops I work with offer embroidery on a t-shirt. The other half don't. That's why you need to come in here and make that decision yourself. So if you don't want to have it on, turn it off. But what I have even a bigger problem with is how low this box is on the shirt. I mean, it's not even, it's too low. Let's just say that. So what we need to do is click on this gear over here, click Allow Custom Decoration Area, click on the product, and put ourselves where it needs to be. This is not difficult. This is tedious. Is it important? Yes. I mean, I stress every time somebody signs up for DecoNetwork software, this is 95% of setting up the software, in my opinion, is establishing a core product mix through categorization and making sure that the product will deliver the most accurate proof and price, because polishing it here doesn't just help your site to act like a customink.com with a design tool. That's cool. But when you're making pre-decorated products on affiliate sites, or you're putting together a quote or order in Business Hub, these boxes do matter. So you really want them to be accurate and set up the way your shop operates. Not everybody works the same way. You don't assume that, oh, out of the box, this is all exactly the way it needs to work. Different shops have different philosophies, business models, pricing. So you want to take the time, categorize, double check the views and decoration areas. That product will work better throughout its entire life, throughout the entire software. It's worth it. What I don't typically do when I configure the product, I typically, as a bulk action, would then update the availability, which would then change this from that orange background to a white background. So if we come here to availability, Business Hub, and web stores. Okay, so I'm going to throw another little curveball at everybody here. And this I have to thank the UK users of DecoNetwork because evidently this is getting kind of popular over across the pond, and I think it's a really cool way to let your customers navigate products a just different way. So we have, I'm going to make another divider, and I'm going to just call this one Industries. It's not exactly probably the best name, but it works for the moment. Um, and one of the categories over here that's also common, I could have had workwear. And I'm not saying, hey, don't do workwear. No, workwear is a great category. But what does workwear represent? So within workwear, you would have, for example, like wovens and button downs. Another one, what might be high vis or safety. Um, Another might be scrubs. These are workwear categories, but industries. So industries allows us to essentially put together a product mix for a certain market segment. For example, one of my target markets that I work with a lot of are contractors. So my brother owns a business. He's a contractor. He knows other contractors. Guess what? Contractors buy different t-shirts than dance studios. So why send the customer just to a t-shirt page? Hey, pick the shirt that makes sense to you. When we can take those different types of customers, direct them to a dedicated page with the products and brands that they are most likely to buy. So within contractors, contractors buy t-shirts. They buy sweatshirts, jackets, coats. But what I would populate primarily in here are Carhartt jackets, Cornerstone jackets, not lightweight um, tri-blends. That's just not what they buy. So another industry might be corporate. I know, kind of weird names that I'm throwing out there. I would put schools. They are a market segment, is a way to look at it. Um, Hospitality, restaurants, and contractors, corporate. Let's do medical. So within medical, I would then do scrub tops, lab coats. It's perfectly fine for a product to be in multiple categories. That's totally cool. The customer could come here, here, find the product, or they could come here, here, and find the product. But from a marketing standpoint, I'll show you in a second, it just it's better a lot of the time. So that very important wouldn't, what I would do when I categorize products is I would categorize them first up here. Your traditional, categorize them by category. But then after you've done that, apply some bulk actions and move them down into here. And what I mean by that is configure all your Carhartt t-shirts potentially for contractors. Put them all in here and then select t-shirts, select the supplier or the brand, Carhartt, and then you can select all of them. So, sorry I didn't already have this open. So this is my company. You can shop by custom apparel and you can go and you can again find the same shirts. I could go to t-shirts and I could find that Carhartt shirt, or I could actually send the contractors to a dedicated page. So when I have a lead for a contractor, I send them to this dedicated contractor apparel page in which we've configured the meta, the alt tag on the images. I have text here talking about, hey, we've got everything a contractor would want. And here are your shirts. And they click on t-shirts. And these, in our opinion, are the most popular types of t-shirts that they would potentially buy. Not difficult. So Remember, the content on a lot of your websites, especially for a custom website, are the products themselves. Your customer wants to have a little bit of text. We have a little bit of text talking about, hey, we do, custom shirts for contractors, but that's for SEO purposes. Really, the products do the talking. So now let's come back over to a website. Let's go to this one. Something to remember. When you're setting availability for products, you're really saying if it's available. Within a site, store configuration, select blank products. This is where we can choose if we actually want to take it all. So even though something's available, that doesn't mean the site has to display those categories. So if you ever have, like in this case, this entire catalog, and you're like, I don't want that to show up, but I don't want to have to update the availability. Well, come in here, store configuration, select blank products, uncheck it, and none of this will show. Only this will show as far as categories displayed. So right now I only have one category. So this is, it's in t-shirts, and that's all we see here. What I will often do is I'll put a product in multiple categories at once, and just so we can visualize. So I'm going to come back to products, come to this DT6000. It's like creating our blueprint for a house. Let's just put this, even though shouldn't be in them, just put it in all your categories and subcategories, just so you can get a visualization. And then again, we can apply a bulk action, or once we're done, we'll just come back and delete it from all the categories. Okay, now it's going to display all our categories, but we only have one product per category. Um, when you come here to widgets and you do a listing, if you're doing blank product categories like this, you can, by default, it's going to show all the available categories, but you can also select a subcategory very easily, which is what we're going to do in a second. Now, if you use these categories, when you're using this widget and the customer selects a category, they're going to be taken to the product page, the products with the product filter page. So customer chooses t-shirts. They're taken to this page where they can select. Now, if you're on the premium or enterprise plan, this page has the ability to use the product filter tool, just like I demoed on, very similar, I should say, to the one on Rush Order Tees and Custom Ink. So if you come here to widgets, the blank product filter, this is not on the standard plan. You can easily add it. It can only, though, be used on this one product's page. Okay. And again, you can see that the customer can filter by category, size, color, brand, process, price. All right. Something about this. Design. Manufacturers. Click on here, change manufacturer to brands. Nobody thinks manufacturers. You think brands. Change that to brands. The other thing, text. Nobody thinks text. They think search. That's how you're actually, I get that it's a text filter, but it's a search. And here's my biggest problem. What I would change, I shouldn't say biggest problem, but this search, it shouldn't be at the very bottom. It should be towards the top. So click don't show, clone this, scroll down, drag it up, And I could put it where I need and turn it back on. So essentially, I've broken up the widget into two. Let's say that you wanted colors to come before category. It's technically totally possible. Come on here, turn off colors, don't show. If it's off, it can be then added by itself. Right there. Through text. There we go. So yeah, you can move them around. You can make them horizontal, vertical drop down, horizontal drop down. Essentially, you can make it look just like rush order tees or custom ink. There's nothing really stopping you. And I've even seen even more be possible with custom code. When it comes to smaller devices, what I also do is I will hide everything but the search and this drop down. And I would make this drop down only available on a phone. So this drop down, responsive properties, I'm going to hide it from any device that's not a phone. When I get down to the phone, you can see this is too much. So I'm going to hide this. What's most important from this is the category. Well, we're going to use a drop down for that, and it'll make it much smaller. So we're going to hide that. I'm also going to hide the colors. And then I'll center the search capability. I'll center the searches on every device. I'll center the product category drop down, which is only available on the phone. I also like to make this dynamic and horizontal. So it'll expand and have subcategories and even sub-sub. All right, let's come back. All right, so if we go back to like how Rush Order Tees is doing it, if I go here and I click t-shirts, it brings me to a page to select a subcategory. Now, with everything we've done so far, if the customer were on the home page and they click t-shirts, it takes them just to this filter page. So essentially, we've skipped the filtering of through a subcategory. And I really like this for both a user standpoint and an SEO. The more pages we have, the more meta page titles, the more alt tags, the more text we have on the page. This is good for SEO. Just using the automated tools within Deco, which is awesome, it makes life easy. It doesn't impress a search engine, and it's not necessarily giving the customer the best experience. So, what am I saying? Well, instead of on the home page listing with like this automated tool, make your own links. Build your own intermediate pages. So what I mean by that is just make this 3 rows. Let's drop in an image. We'll just do a quick search. T-shirt. We'll take this t-shirt. Throw in heading. T-shirts. And the heading will link to a t-shirts page. We'll come right back to that. What I like to do is I like to turn off this products page as far as being in the header. So I do not show it in menu. The automation is great. It even has the drop down categories. It's not helping from an SEO standpoint, and it's not necessarily giving the customer the best experience. So I'm going to hide it from the menu. I'm going to add my own page. I'm going to call it custom apparel. Name it whatever the heck you want. And underneath custom apparel, we're going to have t-shirts. just like if I were to come here and I were to go to like apparel, it's going to show me the different type of categories. So, clicking apparel, same categories as the home page. Well, that's what the custom apparel is. But then underneath custom apparel is t-shirts. Well, hopefully. Shoot. Sorry, guys. So within the t-shirts page, this is where I am going to do a blank product category listing. It's not really a listing, it's doing the blank product categories, but we're on the t-shirts page. So I'm going to select t-shirts. I'm not going to crop it. I'm going to add a filter effect or a hover effect. Show the product name, make it bigger, space them out. I'm going to come back to the home page. This t-shirts is now going to link to the t-shirts page. Alt tag, important to let Google know what the heck this is. This represents custom t-shirts, custom shirt printing, no minimum apparel printing, whatever. Educate the search engines as to what it is. And I'll also make this text link. So what we are doing is we built this t-shirts page. It's going to let us filter the customer by the subcategory. Just it's a better filter before you get to the filter tool. So now when they choose better, now they've actually are on that category and can further filter by color, brand, and so forth. There's a reason these other guys do it. There's why not? We should copy them. There's some method to the madness. Now, here's what you should also do. This is an opportunity from an SEO standpoint. Get on ChatGPT. Write a paragraph about custom printed t-shirts, bulk and no minimum from creative customizing. All right, so that's fairly simple. Now, I want something short. Now, I should read this more and edit it and so forth, but we're going to just grab it. It's better than actually typically nothing, but I would edit it, drop it in here, and the what I probably would also do is I would hide it just like I did earlier. It doesn't have to be on a phone. I don't want to push down all the content on a phone just to have that text. What I also would do is have some text underneath it, but we can go in a lot more detail. So I'm going to ask it rewrite, but talk about the shirts coming in a wide variety of colors, sizes, cuts, unisex, men's, youth, infant, and toddler, in short and long sleeve, plus tanks, tall, pocket, ringer, just go on and on and on and on. It's terrifying what it can do. And oops, rewrite and make 6 paragraphs. I'm not saying, hey, this is just the perfect, SEO. This will solve all your issues. No, it's not going to. But we're hitting keywords in this. The search engines crawl your site. The more keywords they see, the better. We can grab that, paste it down here, and it's not going to hurt. And it doesn't take us really any time. It takes you no time compared to what it used to if you were writing that by hand. Now, obviously, I would get this page looking very pretty. Then it becomes a cloning game. Okay, now we do t-shirts. Well, copy, selects, go from t-shirts to sweatshirts. Change this to sweatshirts. I only have two at the moment back there. Now, the nice thing is, once I've mapped this, like I've selected sweatshirts, if we keep adding more categories back here, they're going to automatically populate over here. No problem. And then obviously I would rewrite these two groups of text. And for every one of these pages, every page on your site, you should be going into advanced settings, meta tags, writing a page title, writing a meta description. Use your good old friend ChatGPT. Rewrite as a meta page title and description for a web page. And right there, just copy your description, copy your title. It's that easy. Copy and paste. But organizing your products is extremely important so that the customer can find what they're looking for in as few clicks as possible. Giving them that quick polish, defining what methods are available, where the boxes are placed is also very important. And then don't use all of the automation tools. It's better to, create some of your own individual pages. It'll help the customer from a navigation standpoint, and it'll help from an SEO standpoint. With that being said, let's open it up to some Q&A. All right, so I saw a few guys dropping in. Is it possible to add multiple logo options for the garments, but have the position and colors locked? I mean, that's more of a pre-decorated, uh, Lee, that's more of a pre-decorated answer. Um, Multiple logo options for the garments, but have the position and colors locked. Now, I mean, you can't do it as a pre-decorated product, but this may answer some of your question. Let's say that I have a client and they're adamant for their affiliate site, we can't have two products. We can't have the black shirt with a white print and a white shirt with a black print. They don't want two products. They want one product. Well, make a new category, call it affiliate, just as an example. Clone the item. So technically I could copy this, and if they're only going to have, for example, a black shirt and a white shirt and they needed to be one product, if I came into colors, I could turn off everything but black and white. And then here in views and decoration areas, I could define my own view, add a view, upload a different image for each product color. And I could upload my image for the black, and then I could upload a separate one for the white, and no decoration process would be turned on. Not sure if that was really what you were asking. That is a common question request for pre-decorated products. That's one of the ways you can do it, is that method. What is the ideal length of a meta tag on an image for SEO? That's a great question. That's a great question for good old ChatGPT. What is the ideal length for a meta tag on an image? 150 to 160 characters. That's why I also like to use, again, ChatGPT for things like that, because they actually understand it. Troy, when are the other previous webinars going to be offered? So yeah, there was a little bit of an issue there. Deco now has two YouTube channels, and the master classes got moved to the old one. or the new one, and we've now decided that they should be on the old one. So very soon they'll all be on the main channel. Um, they're all available. Just search on YouTube DecoNetwork Masterclass, and you should be able to find them. But it will be much easier to find here shortly if they haven't already moved them. How many meta keywords can you add to a page's SEO without it becoming too much for Google? Honestly, I'd be lying. Not really sure. Um, Again, and that the thing about SEO is that changes. Over time, algorithms change. So that answer may have been different 8 years ago. But I'd be lying if I said I really knew. Any other questions? Hope this has been helpful. Um, Juan, you've not seen the last videos. Yeah, we'll get some more. If ChatGPT search overcomes Google search in the next year, how do we adapt our SEO? Uh, okay, so that's a good question. One, I'm not going to pretend to be an SEO expert, but what is kind of ironic is AI loves AI. So if ChatGPT overtakes Google, what you should work on right now is starting to influence AI. And this is very impressive what Deco's been able to do. Um, so is Deco Network better than Printavo? And it's gonna try to be unbiased, just like a search engine is kind of, but it then starts to be influenced. So you could see like Deco is being highlighted more than Printavo. It's not trying to like throw Printavo, but the reason this is happening is because Deco is actively influencing this answer. So AI, the more you put out content out there, the more it's going to read it and come to its own conclusions and be influenced. And AI likes AI. So, not a bad thing. Oh, guys, I totally forgot about something. Um, couple different, actually, a couple things. One, when you have a product here, something you can do, speaking of AI, grab that description. This description, it's coming from Sanmar in this case. Everybody on Deco has the same description. Everybody on Deco's competitors pretty much have this same description. That does not make Google exactly thrilled. Take it, throw it into your AI, rewrite. And again, I could give it a way better prompt, but having the ChatGPT rewrite this, and I'm not saying, hey, do this to all your 400 products you do or whatever it is, but if you rewrite it for your most popular, it's not a bad idea. Um, the other thing you can do when it comes to bestsellers, what I did on my site is I uploaded my own bestseller badges. So I downloaded the blank image, like this Gildan 5000. I took it into Photoshop. I dropped this little badge in the corner. I saved it as a JPEG. And within the blank product itself, images, I uploaded the thumbnail there. Did it take me a little bit of time? Yeah, it did. Was it worth it? Yeah, I think it is. I mean, if you look at a restaurant's menu, they star, they shade, they outline, they draw your attention to their most expensive and their signature products and items. So you want to do the same. If you want your customer to get the best shirt that you recommend, highlight it, make it obvious. Again, the big guys are doing it. There's a reason. And the last thing, and this is kind of like one of the very last thing. Once you've categorized your products, and you want to be typically in all, sort them. Your customers assume that you've put the most popular products first for each category and subcategory. It's just kind of how we think as a consumer. That's not necessarily the case unless you've done it. So here within t-shirts, I can go into the category. I could even go into the subcategory and I could move them around. Or if I search on all, I just use Command F on my Mac and I'll search for the Gildan 5000. And if I search all and I shoot it to the top of the list when I'm in all, it'll shoot it to the top of the list in t-shirts and bestsellers. Better. Anywhere that I have that product in that category, it'll go to the top of the list. So sorting is obviously very important. Make your best sellers, most popular products listed first. The customer just assumes you've done that. For the thumbnail images of your products, does a photo of a model wearing a shirt or just the shirt itself without a person work better for attracting customers? That's a good question. Um, One, I don't have any hard data. One thing that you probably most people don't realize is you have more control over that than you might think. So on that site, when you list products or on that products page, you can list the sales image. So that's the thumbnail. Then you have the sales image, and it could be cropped or not. And then you have the product view. The product image is the first product view. So, like, this is what the designer will be. I list based on the supplier. So, like Sanmar, every single product has a white background, and some of them have part of a head, some of them have the whole body, some of them just the shirt. Yeah, I get that. But I really like their sales image because it's always a consistent human, white background, and so forth. When it comes to like listing SNS, SNS seems to have, backgrounds of things and just a bunch of different types of images, their sales image. So for SNS, I prefer a product image if that was my main supplier. So I don't think there's a wrong or right answer, but I think based on what the supplier is giving Deco would influence what I go with. Jesse, can and should we sort by lowest price first? I wouldn't, or I wouldn't do that myself because your customer can. Your customer can sort by lowest first. That's not difficult for them. What they can't do is they can't sort by popularity. And that's why I would not worry about it. I would, you sort it by popularity that you designate and then let the customers sort by price themselves. When you create a category, you are copying the product. What about the price, how it behaves? One, to create a category, you are copying the product. When you create a category, you're not copying a product. If you copy the product, then the price will be independent. One, I need more info as to what exactly you're saying there. But pricing, if you're on the premium or enterprise plan, you have contract price levels. Those contract price levels are passed into product groups. So within the apparel group, for example, these are the price tables we are using. And then within the product itself, I could override what that price is. Yes. And again, for a product that I clone like this, now if we were applying that workaround I was talking about earlier, because I copied it, I mean, I can make this whatever I want. As far as decoration pricing, it's a little bit harder, but that's not to say I can't come in here, make it zero. If you didn't realize, this shirt, for example, has front, back, left, right sleeve, all those, right? Well, technically, I could use a different price table for each area. So I could charge a different price to print on the left sleeve for screen printing for a certain price level. So really, behind the scenes, one product could have really practically unlimited amount of tables assigned to different areas and processes. Kind of crazy. All right, guys, don't see any other questions coming in. I hope this and the other master classes have been helpful. Give me feedback as to what you'd like to learn more about. We have a nice lineup for 2025. And again, let me know what you want to learn more about, and we'll make sure all these are accessible. Thanks, guys. Have a good one. Bye.